held his first Easter Sunday Mass at St. Peter's Basilica. In his message to the Church and the world, he called on countries to abandon every desire for conflict, domination and power, and implored the Lord to grant his peace to the world ravaged by wars. Hundreds of people gathered at St. Peter's Square in the Vatican for Pope Leo's first open-air Easter Mass. In his message to the world, Pope Leo urged an end to the war and warned of growing globalization of indifference.
Those who hold weapons, let them lay them down. Those who have the power to start wars, choose peace. Not a peace pursued by force, but through dialogue. Not with the desire to dominate the other, but to meet them. We are getting used to violence, resigning ourselves to it, and becoming indifferent. Indifferent to the death of thousands of people, indifferent to the repercussions of hatred and division that conflicts sow, indifferent to the economic and social consequences they produce, and that we all still feel. There is an increasingly pronounced globalization of indifference, to recall a phrase dear to Pope Francis, who a year ago from this balcony addressed the world with his last words, reminding us of how much will for death we see every day in the many conflicts affecting different parts of the world.
In his first Easter message since becoming head of the Catholic Church last year, Pope Leo called for all to open up to a hope that never fails, to a light that never fades, and a faithfulness of joy that nothing can take away. He said the power of Easter is entirely non-violent. Pope Leo also used his Easter message to announce a special prayer vigil for peace in St. Peter's Basilica on Saturday, April 11th. The late Pope Francis organized a similar vigil in 2013 for Syria to rally against the civil war and reject military intervention, which was attended by around 100,000 people. Amarachi Ubani, Channels Television News. Believe it or not, Easter Sunday service did hold in the Iranian capital, Tehran. This Armenian Apostolic Christian Church, the St. Sarkis Cathedral, was one of those opened on Easter Sunday. Worshippers reading hymns and holding on to each other for hope and for some form of desire to continue despite the war in Iran. This church was completed in 1970. It was named after Cappadocian Greek generals who is revered as a martyr. St. Sarkis Cathedral stands as the largest Armenian church in Tehran. It serves as the headquarters of the Armenian Diocese of Tehran, one of 3 such dioceses in Iran. Easter, commemorating the resurrection of Jesus Christ, ranks among the most sacred feasts in the Christian tradition. Follows a 7-week Lenten period dedicated to contemplation and fasting. All tensions have escalated across the Middle East since the United States and Israel launched a joint military operation against Iran on February 28th, amid those diplomatic talks aimed at curbing Iran's nuclear and missile programs. Tehran has been responding with retaliatory strikes on Israel and U.S. assets in the region, accompanied by reports of explosions in several Gulf states. St. Sarkis Cathedral still standing in Tehran despite the war. We're off on a break now on The World Today. Still ahead. From one war-torn area to another, this is in Gaza. Children taking solace in Welcome back. Bangladesh has launched an emergency vaccination campaign after a fast-spreading measles outbreak is suspected of killing more than 100 people, mostly children, in what may be the country's most lethal wave of the disease in recent history. According to Health Ministry data, the campaign comes amid more than 7,500 suspected measles cases since March 15, with more than 900 of these cases confirmed. While Bangladesh has long vaccinated children against the highly contagious disease, the recent outbreak has exposed gaps in its program, raising concern. In the meantime, the country's Prime Minister, Tariq Rahman, has directed two senior ministers to travel across the South Asian nation of 170 million people to assess the scale of the crisis to help coordinate a response. Mr. Rashid attributed the potential outbreak to multifactorial causes, including a shortage of vaccines. According to the WHO, measles is one of the world's most contagious diseases, transmitted when a person coughs or sneezes. While the disease can affect a person of any age, it is most common among children and can cause complications, including brain swelling and severe breathing problems. We're now in the United States. The Secret Service is investigating gunfire heard near the White House early Sunday morning. The agency said officers responded to reports of gunfire in the area around Washington, D.C.'s Lafayette Park just after midnight and conducted a search of the park just north of the president's residence. In the meantime, no suspect has been located and no injuries reported. The Secret Service claims operations at the White House remain normal. However, a heightened security posture is in place. Ahead of Hungary's election, Prime Minister Viktor Orban has convened an emergency meeting of the National Defense Council after explosives were found near a pipeline that transports Russian gas through the country, calling it an act of sabotage. Two rucksacks full of explosives and detonators were found by the Serbian army near the village of Tresnjevec in the Kandistar district, about 20 kilometers from the point where the Turk Stream pipeline crosses into Hungary. Prime Minister Orban, an ally of Russian President Vladimir Putin, has resisted EU calls to abandon Russian energy imports since the full-scale invasion of Ukraine. Without directly blaming Ukraine for the incident, Mr. Orban said Ukraine has been for years trying to cut off Europe from Russian energy. Meanwhile, Ukraine's foreign ministry has strongly rejected the claims, saying Kyiv has nothing to do with this, most probably a Russian false flag operation as part of Moscow's heavy interference in Hungarian elections. In recent weeks, Hungarian security experts have raised the possibility of a staged operation either on Hungarian or Serbian territory intended to arouse enough sympathy for Orban to help his Fidesz party win the election or give Orban an excuse to declare an emergency and postpone or cancel the election. You can't tell by the way they're singing, but these are children in the Gaza Strip as the war continues between Israel and Hamas in the area. These displaced children have been attending choir training sessions in the enclave. Artist and project owner Jihad Hassan says the idea emerged from the difficult conditions children have been enduring in sheltered tents, and that they bear heavy responsibilities during the ongoing war, leading to mental health deterioration and a build-up of unreleased negative emotions. One of the trainees, Habib Uday, describes these sessions as an avenue to release negative energy and to sing with other girls, which increases her happiness. According to the UN's Palestinian Refugee Agency, children in Gaza have been deeply traumatized, with nearly 1 in 3 young children currently malnourished. The agency further notes that Gaza minors are experiencing a catastrophic mental health crisis, with more than 1 million children suffering from severe psychological trauma, constant fear, and intense sadness. Well, there is no war here, as you can tell, but tourists are flocking to Vietnam to get some duck time and a unique massage experience on a farm in the rural Pong Na village. Farm owner Pam Hong explains that it is all about bringing in the punters from home and abroad, as the farm offers a full briefing on how to interact with ducks properly and guide them too. Duck Stop is part of the region's pivot towards global tourism, but travelers wanted to experience the real rural Vietnam with a big, slightly quackers difference. So you do sit down and you have the ducks pecking all over you, I guess taking away negative energy and stress.
I've just come here to the duck farm to be a duck leader, and it's probably going to be the highlight of my trip. It was so much fun. It was so much fun. The people here are so lovely and the experience is amazing. They give you lots of seeds to feed the ducks with, and yeah, it was just a really, really fun experience.
It's great fun. The culture here is so different to home. It's great to experience. At home we live in just a big built-up city, where here coming out into the countryside and experiencing something completely new is great. That's exactly why we came here, was to experience this.
Today I came to the duck farm and I got to be a duck leader, and I also got to experience a massage from the ducks, which was a lot of fun. I reckon I would definitely come back to Vietnam just to be a duck leader again and get that massage.
Well, that is one very unique experience. Thanks for watching. I'm Amarachi Ubani.